Welcome to the Model Car Hobby Headquarters Unpodcast with your host, Luca C. Now here he is, Luca C. Well, hello, my fellow car modelers. How are you doing today? And I'm here with Unsmart Aaron, and we're doing another Unpodcast. But I just want to say, if you notice my getup I got here, all of you, if you don't know, if you're not a Star Wars geek, shut up, Aaron. Today is May the 4th, Star Wars Day. So may the 4th be with you. Hopefully I get this out today. And I'm celebrating it by wearing my part of my cosplay outfit, my Resistance. See, I'm part of the Resistance here when I go to Planet Batu, which is AKA Disneyland. And, you know, we like to dress up and pretend we're really in Star Wars because we're just a bunch of little 10-year-old kids when we go there. And I also have, although my power cells are down, so I can't turn it on. Here's my lightsaber that I made when I last went to Batu. So I'm a Jedi, you know, and just might as well show this off because the Star Wars geeks out there will love this. I can pop this off and look, it's even got a Kyber crystal in it. Ooh. So this is the real. This is real. I can cut people in two with this if I hit them hard enough.
You can cut people in two with that fluorescent tube. I see. Okay. All right. Just making sure.
All right. So I'm ready to go, but I got to tell you the truth. This is hot. I'm going to be taking this off. But yeah, this right here was from, there's a YouTuber on YouTube that kind of covers Star Wars stuff at Disneyland Batu, and he makes these things, and I got one from him. It's something that has to do with something that I'm not going to get into right now. Anyways, I can't even remember his name. I would plug him right now, but you Star Wars geeks who are into that stuff, he does the bounty hunter thing. Whatever, you can look him up. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I should plug the guy now that I brought it up, and I'm just kind of that jerk. So it'll pop when we're talking about model cars again. It'll pop in my head, and I'll interrupt you. So,
right.
What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about model cars.
Yeah.
I'm working on this. That car right there.
Yeah, where are you at with
video?
That? Where are you at with that? Are you done?
I'm finished. I got off my. Hey, it's May the 4th. I'm celebrating Star Wars. Get off my. You know what? Is this? Let me have a drink of coffee. Oh yeah, I went cold.
I'd rather celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, whatever. You're not even Spanish or Mexican or whatever.
Okay.
Environment.
So, well, how much longer do you have? Do you think how much longer before you get that thing done? Before you get that done?
Well, I'm kind of stalled out because, like I was telling you earlier before we went on, is my whole family has gone to Virginia, and my son-in-law wanted to take my main camera with him, which is right because it's his, because I haven't, threw the coin yet to buy my own camera. I've always been using his.
Uh-huh.
And the other cameras that I have just they're not shooting good enough quality video and to stay consistent with what I already shot. So right now I'm on a delay, but right now I haven't really gotten that far on. So who knows when that video will come out, but I'm not putting it out till that model's done. But it's going to be done. That's why I don't like doing build videos. It's because of that. But I got other videos planned on the way, like the one I just put out yesterday. And, but this is a really cool kit. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I got some cool stuff. I'm going to do some extra stuff to it. I even told, I told Rick Salvino about some of the cool things I'm going to do that. And he was all thought that was neat. He liked what I was thinking. So we'll do that. And,
hey, I got something much more important than that.
Oh, do you now?
News flash.
Oh, geez.
There's a little article out there that this is just the beginning. This is the veritable tip of the iceberg. NHRA next year is going to introduce an EV only class. Not kidding.
I knew that was coming.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What? The sound won't be there, but those EVs are wicked. They're going to be the fastest things on the tracks.
Yeah.
They are going to be fast.
For anybody who's watching this, if you watch the NHRA on a regular basis, you know that last year they had that competition, and I can't remember. It was Tony Pedregon, I think, in one car, and I can't remember who else. I think it was Tasca, maybe in the other car. One was in the standard Cobra Jet, and I think the other one was in an EV car, and the EV car just blew the Cobra Jet away. It was unbelievable how much quicker that thing is. The 0 to 60 on those things is just insane. So
yeah, they're fast.
Yeah. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Once they get that going, then you're going to start. I am certain that you're going to see a lot of you'll see it branch out into classes and things like that. And the if the drag racing sanctioning body or bodies manage to survive this whole thing, you'll probably see a big leap in that in the next 5 years, I'd say.
It'll happen. They've already been in racing and really like Pikes Peak. There's been a lot of
Formula E and stuff like
blown
that.
the classes the way that they're in.
Yeah.
And then that Cobra Jet they did last year. I just every time there was a video I watched and I got pictures of that stored in my computer. To me, I don't know what it was about. There was something different looking about that car too. It was so wicked off the line, and
I can't remember.
It was just a neat looking. It was the Cobra Jet Mustang, the electric one. It's like it was freaking fast.
Yeah,
stunt car. Yeah, you can't beat that stuff. I don't think it'll take over yet. I mean, it's going to be way, 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 way in the future when it matters. Yeah. It's not going to take over the combustion engine yet. I don't care what anybody wants and says. We've got decades before that happens. But what we're doing in
I think you're wrong on that.
So important. It does need to be. One day it will be a feasible mode of transportation. It is definitely not now, and it is not. Well, we're totally off the subject, but I got to say this when it comes to that, it is nowhere near anything ecologically. It's not. Right. It's not environmental as much as people think.
It's not as environmentally safe
to create this, but that'll come. They got to build the infrastructure. Once they get it, once they figure it out, maybe better ways. Because lithium mining and lithium itself, that's rough stuff. You don't realize, and then because. Gosh, we're going to get into heavy stuff, but because we're still coal-powered power plants mostly, that's what they charge up. So they're basically burning more coal and using up more electricity. They got to do that to charge things. So it puts a lot on the grid.
Yeah, the cost to produce everything to have electric cars is far in terms of the environmental impact is still way worse than.
Oh yeah.
Having a gas-powered vehicle
right now, it is. But take all that out. Take the whole. Stop hugging trees. It's definitely a technology that needs to be worked on. We're all going in the right direction. We're doing the right thing. Just don't put a bullet in the head of the gasoline engine and the combustion engine quite yet.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not for drag racing. That would be super boring not to have that sound.
Well, it will, but eventually, as the years go on, you get used to it, and all in all, we're addicted to the sound, but all in all, it's about the machines and the competition, and it'll be just as cool. And in the future, when we're all driving electric cars, our grandkids will be driving.
It just is one of those things where, especially with drag racing. I mean, back in the 70s, it was easy. It was a very, very popular sport, and it was in the public eye a lot back then. And as the interest waned in it and stuff like that, now it's become a thing because there's so much out there now as far as entertainment goes where there wasn't before. Now to get people there, you can watch it on TV and you might say, oh, that looks pretty cool, but you really don't get it until you really don't understand how cool it is until you're actually there and you actually feel that. You feel the sound waves from a Top Fuel or a funny car go past you and whatnot. It's something that you can't. There's no way to experience that unless you're there. So Yeah, that's part of the thing. If that ever goes away, if piston engined vehicles ever go away when it comes to drag racing might still be there, might still be entertaining, but it's going to lose that element, which is going to be, to me, it's really important.
By the time that happens, all the people that are addicted to that are dead.
Yeah,
and it'll be a new crowd that's watching it, and they'll be
right.
There's so many people that are going to be into the electric cars, and I mean, there's already really long running tune-up shops for electric cars that have been doing cool stuff like EV West. I mean, they've been for years been taking these electric BMWs to Pikes Peak and just whooping everybody with them.
Right.
So it's there's a whole nother level of hot rodding with that. And I'll tell you what, it's like our old buddy Dave Bell, he's been working on a model, or he might have finished it. He's been working on something that he's trying to do an electric car, a hot rod electric car, and doing a detailed motor with all the inverters and the cables and stuff. If you ever look at under the hood of an electric car, especially the performance one, there's some pretty neat stuff. You could do some cool detail. I've been wanting to do an electric car for a long time. And there's this guy out in Texas that's been doing stuff with this 65 Mustang Fastback. Call it the Bloodshed. If you look them up, he's got this black Mustang that he runs those really, when they go to the airports and do those long timed runs and stuff, time attacks.
Right.
I don't know if it's time attack or whatever. There's so many different
things.
So that could be something really cool. I think I've seen it a couple times. It'd be cool to start seeing some model cars built with electric motors under the hood and all the different things. You don't have a deal with a transmission or shifting anymore. It's all different. Yeah. Different
reference layout. Picks, things.
You could make it a really cool, really interesting, detailed model that way.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be neat.
Interesting. So what's going on with the as far as the resin goes?
Oh, you had to ask about that, didn't you?
I had to. Sorry.
Well, my biggest problem right now is having a shop. That's been my big slowdown. But I'm working on that nose. I hope to have it. I keep saying this every week, but I really want to have that in rubber. I just want it to be right. So I've been doing a lot of body work on it. So I got a little bit more body work I want to do to it. I'm probably going to work on it a bit tonight. Kind of actually working on this model kind of took me away from it a bit. So I've got to, that's why I took an extra day off of work this week. Also doing some work around the house. I need to get that done. I need to get that into rubber, because if I got that, and I could punch out a few and basically get things rolling at that point. But I really don't have a place to work. I got on my workbench over here, I got a little area I could probably start resin casting, but this is really tough. I don't have a shop, and I don't know where to put a shop. And now the heat is kicking in. Lumber prices went the heck up. I have a place I was going to build a room, but now I've decided, with lumber prices, and I think this will actually work out better. My cohort lives out in my backyard, Master Jackpot. He suggested cinder block. I might just, I have a very good foundation.
Yeah.
Because it's already a patio. I've got these columns, a roof. Right. That's all done. I just got to build 3 walls and a door, maybe a window, and put an air conditioning unit in there. So I think I'm going to I was looking at doing cinder block. So I might be a bricklayer, learn how to bricklay.
Yeah.
If I get that, but here we are in the heat, but if I can get that done, that's going to be my shop. It gives me plenty of room, and I can really, really start producing. I got all my old stuff that I want to bring back. Where you resin cast, it's really tough. You got to have climate control when you're resin casting. The temperature really affects the resin when you're actually casting it. Yeah. And there's also a problem with where my air compressor is in the garage. When it's really hot out, it produces a lot of, no matter how many water traps, you still get a lot of moisture in there. Right. It's always tough to do it in the hot during the day. I would always work at night during the summer. Yeah. That affects also, when you're pressurizing. Right. There's all those factors. I got to have a good shop to work in. So that's what's slowing me down. I really need to get this going.
Yeah.
Because I think it's time. I think there's going to be cool cool stuff. And then I want to get a 3D printer, a resin 3D printer, so I got to figure out what to do as far as to put into that printer. That's the hard part, coming up with designs that I want to try to learn how to do that. That can be very expensive in the equipment.
I've got one that I would love to, that if I had the dimensions or whatever, the whatever you need for 3D, right? For 3D print, we were talking about what cars, what kind of kits or cars that you would want to build. And one of them, this would be a real unique one, would be, there was a car that raced out at US 30 way back when. It was called No Big Thing. Now, you stop me if you ever hear, if you know what I'm talking about on this one. This thing was a 1959 Vespa 400 car.
What?
It was no bigger than a smart car in terms of the body size.
I know what you're talking about.
No Big Thing. This thing, the guy stuffed I think it was a 427 plant in it.
Where?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the rear slicks came way out of everything came way out of the body because the body was this big.
It was smaller than a little Fiat, huh?
Oh yeah. And just because of the wheelbase and because of all that power and torque, he had those the wheelie casters on there that were like the George Montgomery Malco Gasser, and like the Grumpy Jenkins.
Yeah. The ones that come right down.
Yeah, it comes down to a thing, and then there's a big tire on the back there.
Freaking crackers.
He would take off from the line, and he would be on his two rear slicks for at least half the track. At every shift, and ran wicked. People hated to race against him because that car was just wicked fast. But it was really popular. It's almost mythological around the Midwest. Everybody knows that car. There are a lot of people actually out of the region that know that car too. But it was really cool. I would love to have the dimensions to give you to print that thing out.
That'd be a nutty thing to build.
It would be. It'd be fun. It'd be absolutely. It's you talk about unusual, unique. Yeah, that would be it.
And we were talking about, when I asked you, what would be if I was to do a funny car body, and you mentioned that Cordova. Yeah. That Tommy
Cordova, Dodge Charger.
Yeah, it was in that video that we did when we were at the museum. That'd be an interesting one to pull off.
Yeah, it would.
Don't have any idea how, but because it seems like in resin casting, when it comes to funny cars and stuff like that, you funny car builders, you're pretty well taken care of. There's really not much I can do for you.
All the real popular stuff's already out there. Like I said, you can get Challenger, check. Barracuda, check. Charger, Vega Panel, Mustang, Pinto, Mustang 2s, they're all there. So all those regular ones, but like I said, there were a couple of significant ones. Tommy Ivo was the one. Mr. Norm was another one. There was one called the Gold Coast Charger. That was another one. I think there were some East Coast guys that ran that same body also. Although it's hard to find. A lot of, I think, some BBFC, some alcohol funny cars ran that body too. It's just one of those ones that because it's not out there, some people want it. Whether it's going to be enough to justify putting the time in to get to make something like that, it's another story.
I'm pretty decent scratch builder, but oh my goodness, it takes me forever.
Yeah,
that's why most of my stuff that got scratch built. I did quite a bit of my own, but I had guys like Frank and Dave doing it for me, and I had Dave working on something for me, but that it was about the time that I ended the last run I did, and as far as time for him to do it nowadays, it might be a little more difficult for him.
Right.
But I could take a crack at it. But I need to find a pretty expensive old kit. I guess what we were saying would probably base off of like the.
I don't know if anybody ever had it.
The Fury, the 2-door Fury, or was it a Roadrunner, or like a 76 Roadrunner? I think is what you'd have to kind of start with. But there's a lot between the Cordoba and that. They're really close, but there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of work to be done.
Yeah. And to get it right, and to get it. And
that's the only way I would do is if I could have that thing right. So that would be something that if I could contract a CAD guy to do for me, and then I have my resin. That's what my plans are when I get a resin printer. If I can find a good designer, I would really want to get into that stuff. And I know it can be expensive. I know that, but
if there's demand,
I would invest the money and stuff like that.
Yeah,
to make this.
If it were worth it, if their demand was there, it'd be worth to do. But you got to find that out first.
Yeah. So. I think that would be a pretty decent one.
Yeah,
we'll see when I get that gajillion. I did buy a lottery ticket, so we'll see what happens. But as far as like the rest of the resin I'm going to do is a lot of my. I don't really have in the process of making anything new. I'll just probably bring out all my old stuff. I gotta fix a few things, but I've got pieces of my 70 Javelin that it busts apart. Last time I made the mold, they don't ever come out of the mold, especially especially older brittle plastic like Johan kits and stuff like that. You pop them out of mold, they're coming out in pieces. After you've made the mold, there's just no way. If you do your mold right, especially when it's a body that's, like rounded around there, they're not coming out. So I got to fit that thing, get that thing. I got all the pieces. I just got to put it together. And the A pillars are the worst. They're always shattered. They're like multiple pieces. So that will be fun. And to make it look good too, because, it's got to look perfect coming out of the mold. I want my, when my resin pieces pop out, I want them to be like literally glossy, I think that's important.
Takes a lot of work. Yeah. Got to make the master's got to be that good. Yep.
Try to minimal cleanup, no fizzy bubbles or nothing.
Right.
That's the way to do it. Top notch. I don't know. I'll do everything.
Cool.
What's been happening on the boards? I mean, there's been some discussion of some stuff.
No, somebody should be. I deleted somebody's post today. They were like soliciting to buy something from somebody, to buy something, and it was like had to do it. It's been relatively nice. The group has been as far as what they're talking about. The cool thing about our group is that people are building. They're really building a lot, and they're getting a lot done. I don't know how some of these people knock this stuff out that fast.
I know,
but more power to them. More power to you. If you can knock out one a month or two a month or whatever it is. I've heard people post that this is their 12th build and and I was like, what?
I really wish. I have so many ideas. I wish I could blow out models. I've been in my head. As I sit there and watch the idiot box right here.
Yeah.
So there's all these models I would love to have done that I wish I'd just sit down and just build. I mean, just not, that's where I'm just like not worrying about getting into heavy detail. There's so many ideas I have that I could literally build out of the box like this. That was the idea of that. And I thought I'd get this done in a week, I thought. But
just keep, even if it, my secret with my thing is, even if you just accomplish one little thing, whether it be every day or once every couple of days or something, if you just accomplish one little thing towards the progress of completing that model, it's going to get done. You know what I mean? It's just, well, yeah, that's for me. It's like if I'm in a rut, I'll still like plow through and do like I am right now a little bit because of my diorama. I'm at a little bit of a stalemate right now. I'm trying some paint, and I'm trying that airbrush that I've got again and seeing how that works and whatnot. But I'm a little bit of a stalemate because I don't have the reference material that I need to do what I would ultimately like to do. So I'm at a little bit of a loggerheads right now, but I'm getting little bits, just little fragments of it done to give you some kind of semblance of accomplishment during the, each day. And then when I'm ready to really make the big move, then a lot gets done in a short period of time. So that's how I kind of do it.
That's cool. Yeah, I try to do it that way. I know I'm running into, there's not a lot of information on this car right here. It ran one race. There's only a couple of pictures, or like 3 or 4 pictures of the thing. And there's a big thing. What color was the chassis? And I did my research figuring out what that car was before it was that. And, that was Cale Yarborough drove that car probably on the road course, actually at Riverside, done up as the Busch beer car. And still can't find a lot of pictures of that. But, they would run a red chassis, a black chassis, a gray chassis. They had multiple cars. Junior Johnson would have multiple cars. So there's no telling so I just went black. I just went black, easy. It also, I'm making it a simple kit. There's nothing really to look at on the inside for me. I'm not going too crazy. I'm trying to have just a visual of the car sitting there on the shelf. It's a model I've wanted to build for years and years and years and years. I blew apart that they were doing that car, just those decals, because there's nothing else like that. There's never been anything available as far as decals to be able to do that car. So I stoked right out when they announced it, and I just want it on the shelf. So I'm going to finish it.
When I work on a funny car, it's like it changed. That car could have changed from week to week while it was touring during the summer and stuff. Different wheels, whatever, different sponsors, different tires, and usually I'll just work on it and plan on to be like a conglomerate of a little bit of this version, a little bit of that version, put it all together. That's what I come up with.
It depends on what I'm going for, but I just don't get that splitting hairs. It can drive you insane. There are some particular times that I want to do a version of a car from a particular race, and and then I that's punishing myself. But sometimes you can fudge here and there, and especially the race car, not so many people can really argue with you on it. They will, but who cares? We've talked about that. In the rivet
you mean it's kind of like when you have a 426 block in, and then you've got the 392 heads on the car, on the motor. Yeah, kind of sort of like that.
Yeah, who would notice?
Yeah, who would notice? Inside joke.
Jim Dunn definitely didn't give a shit, did he?
No, he loved it.
That was a cool model, man. You put a lot of work into that. There was a heck of a lot of scratch. What did you do to the body? Did you have to do a lot of stuff to the body?
And do a damn thing to the body.
It's all chassis.
Well, no, I take that back. There was a little bit. The comp resin. So what Luke is talking about, guys, is the
I'm showing pictures of it.
Dunn and Reith. Oh, the Dunn and Reith rear engine CUDA, the funny car summer CUDA. That was a comp resins specific rear engine CUDA body. They made that body, but they made it for the next, I think it was for the next paint scheme. It was still a red one, but it had an actual graphic where Dunn and Reith was and this and that. And it had a different type spoiler on the back. So I cut that off. So I didn't really do anything as far as the dimensions go on the body. The chassis, I was entirely scratch built with the exception of the hoop for the driver. For the driver's roll cage. That was the only thing that I took from a kit for the chassis.
Do you have any built pictures of that car as you were building it? Did you take pictures of it while you were
in progress? I don't know. I really don't remember. I can go back and look. I don't think I did.
When you're doing something like that, you should always take pictures. And then I could show them right now as you're talking about it, you Dicks.
Right.
Jesus. You didn't think ahead, did you? Didn't think ahead.
No, because I don't care.
Sure.
But yeah,
I like that model.
That was thanks. That was I love that. I love it for the fact that every other one that I've seen before it, and a lot of them that I've seen after it, they'll use a dragster chassis. They'll cut the dragster chassis up and do it that way, or they'll use the AMT Piranha chassis and do it with that one. And I actually started that build with the idea of using that Piranha chassis, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Dang, it'll work."
How about that? I thought you would have used that. I can't remember the name of it. Remember when Monogram had their goofy funny cars and stuff, their custom ones, and they had that 71
the Troublemaker?
Troublemaker, or double trouble, or Troublemaker.
Yeah. Same thing as that was the same thing as the Piranha. It's just a
same chassis.
Yeah, it's almost, those things almost look like sand dune buggy chassis.
Yeah, when I got a hold of one years ago. I got a hold of a built up years ago because when that thing was like non-existent, and then they popped it back out a few years later. I never thought about buying one, and then it disappeared. I think it's been popped 2 times since I found a built up that I was so happy to get a hold of, because what I wanted to turn it into a monster truck or a
right.
Not so much a monster truck, but those dirt mud bog drag racers.
Cool. Right.
I thought that's what the chassis looked like to me, the way it was configured. Yeah. It looked like get that thing up high.
Me too.
Yeah, never happened.
But so that was just it was cool. I enjoyed that one. It took a while to get it done, but I enjoyed that one immensely because it was just, I like doing that stuff that people haven't done or people haven't done correctly. I didn't do it correctly either, as some people have told me, but it came out pretty well, and the original, and Jim Dunn thought it was pretty cool too. So that's all I needed.
That's all you needed. That's cool.
Tom McEwen, when I took his Duster to Vegas with me, it was the funniest thing. I think he thought it was a die cast. He handled it so roughly. I was afraid he was going to smash the crap out of it. He it was just like one more guy in line, right? I'm just one more guy in line getting it. It was with him and Snake together there, and he took it. He just, I really wasn't meaning for him to sign the car itself, but he did it.
You just wanted to show it to him.
That was a time where, no, I had it on a base, and I wanted him to sign the base to it, I think. And because I was meaning to still, at that time, I was still interested in putting a car into a contest. And he signed the hood to it and just kind of like looked away. I was like, okay.
That sucks. I mean, it's cool now you got it, but yeah, at the time.
Oh yeah.
I know I had kind of a similar thing. I think I wanted Richard Petty. I had already done hood, and I was going to clear it, and I wanted him to sign the underside of the hood, and he signed the top of it. And it's like, well, I'm not going to use this now in my build.
Right.
I can't remember, and I think I ended up taking, because it was a finished STP Pontiac hood, and I don't have it anymore. I think I gave it to a friend of mine or something.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a huge autograph guy, and I already have, like, the only autograph I really have are Richard Petty autographs. I have a really cool one that same kit still sealed. I had him sign, and a really great book that was done in the 70s with him that he signed, and that's good enough for me. This person appreciate. I had a couple of Richard Petty signed stuff that I gave to people who were fans that I felt they deserved it. Again, I'm not really a huge.
Cool to have the finished car with the hood that's unsigned on there, and then have that hood, the autograph.
Yeah, I'm not forward thinking.
I'm
not a forward thinker like that. That would have been cool. But quite honestly, I never finished the car anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, well, there you go.
Maybe one day I'll do the 200. I actually was working on a 200th win where I almost had the Cale Yarbrough card done. I was going to do what's on the box Petty crossing the line and Cale just a little bit behind him, even though Cale, that's a whole nother story. Everybody knows Cale didn't come in second. That's not the actual finish that they have depicted on the box, but that was the race to the yellow, because it was the crash in the last lap, or second to the last lap. So the last cross the finish line, Petty gets the win that way, because once you're all lined up in a pace lap or yellow caution lap, that's how it's going to be. And they got the checker the next time around, caution. But Cale ducked in didn't realize it was the last lap, and he went in for a pit stop. So he lost out on second when he realized, and Harry Gant got second. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments below.
Right.
Okay, don't get me going on a NASCAR story.
Nah.
I'm like that, like the way you are with drag racing, mostly funny car. It's like, it's kind of, all the ins and outs and all the little detailed knowledge that nobody gives a crap about, like me.
That's just because I lived it, man. That's just because I lived it way back when. I met all those guys way back when they were young, still racing. Don Perdome, the Snake, turned 80 just yesterday. I think it was. Maybe it was today.
Really?
He won his class in the Baja 1000. This just last week, I think.
You're kidding me.
No.
Wow.
No, it was some turbocharged class. He and this other driver, they won their class. That's what he wanted to do.
Thing about Perdome, man, that dude is a hot rodder, man. He's not just the funny car Top Fuel NHRA guy. That guy was a hot rodder. That movie they put out a few years ago about the two of them, Snake and Mongoose. I love that movie. Actually, got to get a copy of it. It really shows. He was just a Southern California hot rodder. Yeah, that's all he was interested in doing. That's why he did. That's why he really cared about his cars and the preservation, and he restores them. Right. Not knocking other guys, but to a lot of those dudes, lot of drag races, it's just, the race car is just a hammer. Right. Oh yeah, I mean, Mongoose, he got rid of all his cars. That's why you can't find an original Mongoose car around anymore. No. But Snake kept almost all of them. I mean, the only ones that he sold a lot of them at auction at Barrett Jackson over the course of the last 10 years. Let's say he sold the yellow Cuda. He sold his white Cuda, his Snake 2, which I was there to see that one. He sold his Pontiac, his 94, 93, I think, or whatever it was. Maybe it was an 89 Firebird, Skull Firebird. He sold a lot of cars. He sold a lot of cars at auction, but he had them for a long time. But that was the thing. He had at this point in time, I could see where you could finally sell them off, unless you had family that wanted it. Yeah, it's better off at this point in time, especially the fact that he kept them, he restored them, so they are 100%, and they're going off to people that are basically the curators to watch over them for the next generation to get them. That's right, exactly, and but yeah, a lot of those guys, you said yourself, and he made some freaking coin. Yeah, and you said yourself, Grumpy was one of those guys. He never kept any of his stuff. Didn't care about it. They meant nothing. Right. There were a lot of guys that like that just didn't keep them. So to have those ones, it's pretty precious, man. It's pretty cool. Where, the whole, some of the cars out there, some of those guys, not going to knock them. Maybe like that had that attitude. They were just a tool. It didn't really matter to them. Yeah. And they'll sign off on stuff because you're paying them. And there's some definitely non-authentic race cars out there that, such and such signed off it, so it's the real thing. It has the control arm from the real thing, and that's about it. It doesn't make it the car. That's always been kind of a joke with some of my friends, but
Right.
I get in the whole vintage let's do this again. In the whole vintage race car restoration thing, I'm very much of a skeptic. Lots of times I see some stuff. There's one going on right now that's kind of ticking me off. I'm not going to say here, but there's a build right now that I feel pretty strong about this particular car.
Oh yeah.
There's already one that claims to be that one, and it's kind of funny how there's going to be two of them now claiming to be that car. And in a sense, they both are right, because this one was built with some of the parts, and this one's being built with some of the parts. But it should be a different car. But it's sad, and I don't know, whatever. I know when that one car went up for sale, I wish I had the means to buy it because I knew that was going to happen to it.
Yeah,
man, I sent you a picture of that. I wanted it bad. Oh. I probably would have sat in my backyard with the other race car just rotting away, but I'd have kept it safe from Maniac. Make it into what it's not.
There you go.
Big models. That's all those things are. Big models.
That's exactly right. Just bigger toys, more expensive.
A lot more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. But yeah, so I think I've had enough of you.
Yeah. Feelings mutual.
I didn't really even want to do this today with you. It was more just a test for this mic. I'm going to be honest. But what the heck? We made it into a show. Maybe the 4 people out there will enjoy it.
We made a show
about our garbage. That's always fun rapping with my buddy.
Right.
Hey, someone real quick. So you remember that someone gave me a comment saying, like, I'm always busting your chops and saying, shut up, Aaron. And in a nice way, this person was truly concerned about your feelings, because I'm always giving you a busting the chops and telling you to shut up. And it's like, are you worried about hurting Aaron's feelings? Aaron, speak. Is your feelings hurt? He was the first one to get a shirt.
I'm retired. I can give a crap what you say. I worked retail for like 10 years plus. There's nothing that you can say that I ain't heard before.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a shot at something that you better get it right this time.
Oh, God.
You have to do it. You have to. It's the way it is. Do it.
Okay.
Don't screw it up.
This is him. This is him.
Yeah.
Lucas E.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep cutting that styrene. Keep gluing those fingers. And we'll see you in the next video.
It's a little better, but you got it crossed over. You're supposed to glue the fingers and cut the styrene, not the other way around. But at least you're not mixing everything up. You're getting better, Aaron. One of these days you're going to knock it right off, and we're going to be proud of you. And then you can have your own show.
Thanks so much. Yeah. That'll go over big.
Yeah, definitely. All righty. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this little gab we had. That was fun. I always like BSing with my bud. So I'm going to go clean up some dog poo-poo out in the backyard out in 99-degree weather. Sounds fun, huh?
Nice.
May the 4th be with you.
Indeed.
Later.